Every one of the Marvel heroes have their own baddies, and this is also the case for the Merc with a mouth Deadpool himself. Thus, today we're going to talk about some of the most powerful villains of Deadpool, who he faced as part of a team or in his career as a solo private mercenary throughout his life. Enjoy. Number 15. Himself. Starting off our list with an odd one, yes, it may sound meta, but one of the enemies he has faced against is himself. In other words, he does things that get people ticked off at him, which eventually end up causing him trouble.
Well, guess what, Wolvie? I'm dying in this one too.
Without having no intention at all in the first place. It's stronger than himself, and his constant chatter is the coping mechanism he uses to release all the stress built up inside him. Number 14. Evil Deadpool. Many heroes in the Marvel and DC universes have their evil counterparts. One prime example is Green Lantern's SINISTER. So why wouldn't Deadpool have one as well, right? Well, he has, and he's named as simple as Evil Deadpool. He's made of the body parts Wade loses before his healing factor helps to grow them back. Thrown into a dumpster, these parts came together, thus Evil Deadpool came alive with having the same abilities as Wade outside of him being a true psychopath. Number 13. T-Ray. The considered arch-nemesis of Deadpool seems to be T-Ray, with the main reason being that he claims to be the real Wade Wilson, thus seeing Deadpool as an imposter that goes by the name of Jack who killed his wife. T-Ray has a supernatural advantage and is a formidable fighter. He's able to utilize mystical energies by reading old symbols, making him one hard enemy to defeat. Number 12. Dr. KILLEBREW. The one who activated Wade's healing powers is Dr. KILLEBREW. However, this advantage came at a cost of torture and actual death for the mercenary, and the healing powers are the only thing that allowed Deadpool to escape. Since then, he came across Dr. KILLEBREW several times, considering killing him several times. But something always manages to come their way and stop the whole thing many times over. Number 11. AJAX. While we're at Dr. KILLEBREW, another person involved in his experiments is AJAX, his assistant who is doing all of the experiments on the victims together with Dr. KILLEBREW.
Is AJAX your actual name? Because it sounds suspiciously made up. What is it really? Kevin? Bruce? Scott?
Wade proved to be one of the few who ever stood up to this crazy assistant, shooting him several times at point blank. This is the time when he made AJAX a cyborg, and him destroying Deadpool became his ultimate goal.
Moments when you're offered a choice. To make a sacrifice, conquer a flaw, save a friend, spare an enemy. The way we...
Number 10. William STRYKER. One of the most shocking villains Wade has faced many times throughout his life is none other than William STRYKER, a former military man who turned into a religious zealot, enforcing God's mission to him to kill all the mutants on the planet, an action which faced him with many other mutants, including some of the X-Men too. In recent years in the Weapon X comics, Deadpool is hired to work for a disguised Mantello. In comic fashion, he turns to work with Weapon X, and in doing so, he also fights with a robotic William STRYKER. Number 9. CROSSBONES. Being a mercenary comes at a great cost. Even Deadpool knows this, which eventually includes his name getting added to a list of other mercenaries' contracts in the Marvel Comics. Deadpool had a few hits on him, and one of the characters that came to collect him is CROSSBONES, with whom Deadpool went toe-to-toe, and managed to escape this hit after Hydra and other dangerous organizations had CROSSBONES' back. Number 8. TASKMASTER. Another hit on him had to be done by one of the most powerful mercenaries in the entire Marvel Universe, and the newest villain to hit the big screen as part of the Black Widow movie, Taskmaster. Known for his ability to mimic and copy anyone's fighting style and also match it, Taskmaster matched against Deadpool's healing factor made for a humorous and brutal fight between the two. Number 7. Hitmonkey. This next for that Deadpool had to take on himself in none other than Hitmonkey, a Japanese macaw who learned the skills of an assassin from a wounded assassin to whom he had given refuge with his clan, a chain of events which eventually made him become an assassin himself after his whole clan was wiped out. In an attempt to take on Deadpool, Spider-Man finds himself in the midst of things trying to stop the senseless violence, a sequence which landed him a spot on our list as one of the toughest villains Deadpool has. Number 6. BULLSEYE. One of the explosive yet humorous villains proved to be BULLSEYE, an insane with whom Deadpool has been facing for several years. He also became the new Hawkeye in Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers team. A massive fight between him and Deadpool broke out while he was under the Hawkeye disguise. He even managed to put an arrow through Wade's head, but as you guessed it, this didn't last much. Number 5. STRYFE. While Deadpool is a typically humorous hero, he has been in many serious events throughout his life. One of these events was the one that took place during a crossover between Cable and X-Force, an event which formed as an aftermath of the Messiah complex and involved the one and only STRYFE, a genetic clone of Cable raised by Apocalypse who also showed all of the ways of violence to him. He tried to use Hope Summers but failed in the attempt. Number 4. Lady Deathstrike. As we mentioned earlier, Deadpool changed sides to join the newly formed Weapon X when he faced William Stryker. But before he did this, while still working under the disguised villain Mentallo, he came in combat with the Weapon X team including Lady Deathstrike, a villain who teamed up with Warpath, Domino, and Sabretooth to take down Mentallo, a fight in which Deadpool was also a part of. Number 3. Juggernaut. Another very powerful villain who made their claim to Deadpool's life when a $20 million hit was put on him and decided to put their hat in the ring with him is Juggernaut.
I can't jump them! Oh no, they're right here!
One of the most powerful villains the members of the X-Men have ever faced. After being assigned to take down a mercenary in the likes of Deadpool, Juggernaut eventually came face to face with Wade, however, he was stopped. Deadpool managed to put cement in his mouth. Guess that's the only way of stopping the unstoppable Juggernaut. Number 2. Mr. Sinister. On one of the many adventures Deadpool and Cable have taken, the pair came face to face with a powerful foe named Mr. Sinestro, from whom Cable needed saving after him being somehow involved as a baby. Being a genetic scientist and a mutant who could restructure his molecular structure at will, Wade found himself facing one of the most powerful foes in his entire life so far. Deadpool found the moral high ground with the villain and went after baby Cable, rescuing him in the process, going through thick and thin in the process. Number 1. Thanos. And last but not the least, by far the most powerful villain Deadpool has ever faced is the Mad Titan himself, Thanos. And the interesting thing about their encounter is that they fought one another not because the fate of the universe was at stake, but the love of the embodiment, Death itself. Death became infatuated with Deadpool and he also fell in love with her. Thanos couldn't allow this, and so he found a way to make Deadpool unable to pass away, forging a rivalry between the two that would last an eternity. On a related note, tell us down in the comments which of these villains would you like to see in the next Deadpool movie in the future and why. And also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to see more movies like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.